All right. One of my best consultant buddies is with me this morning. Was that okay for talking about a client?
That was excellent.
That was off the cuff.
It's like you've done this before.
Once or twice. And if you're wondering who I've got this morning, it's Vaney Hariri, Thinking 3D Solutions. And we had a conversation, was it last week?
Yes, sir.
And you said, Bill, we're going to have a conference in about 6 months, and we're going to bring teams together that are going to talk. Before we get into some words that are being overused right now in this race for mayor, tell us about the conference and why it's so important.
It's very exciting. So October 30th at the Convention Center, we'll be having our first CultureCon, and that's our culture conference for Sioux Falls. And it's a little bit different. We really wanted to change the dynamic of how people had conferences, things that were far more interactive, where they got value. A lot of times we go to these different trainings and people talk to us and they use buzzwords and things of that nature, but they don't really give you techniques and they don't really give you help you develop an understanding so that you could take it back to your workplace and really change the dynamic of your organization, your home, or your business. And the really important thing is that we want people to be able to customize it. So we're really pushing to have teams. Right now we're going through our sponsorship process, and even that's different because we're interacting with our sponsors in a different way where they actually get to add content and things of that nature. So everything is about value. Everything is about people getting something from it. So it's going to be something people want to look for. This is going to be an excellent event.
Now, some guy named Zortman going to be a part of something there?
That's right. You're gonna be there. We needed some credibility.
And you're looking at me?
Right. So we had to call in the big gun. So you're going to be helping us moderate one of our QA panels, and we're super blessed to be able to have you. So thank you for that.
You and I got into the discussion the other day that we have words that are being overused by our candidates, by our office holders right now. And we could have picked any of 20 words.
Right.
But the two that we're going to talk about this morning, and we even put Ron Nelson on it Friday, and I gave him some homework, with the word transparency and diversity.
Yes, sir.
They get used so many times, and the hackles come up on the ears with both of those.
Right.
That people are like, what does that mean? So I saw Ron yesterday as the 5 of the 6. Kenny Anderson's mom is not doing well in the Twin Cities. But the other 5 were there, and Ron Nelson was in the back scoring the number of times they said transparency and diversity.
Yeah.
And he's going to report on that on Friday, but he said, I never realized how many times people have just adopted that word rather than come up with a new one. So that's lazy language.
Right.
And as you kind of know with this show, one of the things we try to do is help the listener.
Yes, sir.
So this morning, if I was to tell you, Vaney, that you could not use the word transparency, what would you use?
Honestly, well, first of all, just since you mentioned it, thoughts and prayers to Kenny Anderson Jr.'s family. He's a good man, and so I hope that his mother is doing better. But the word that I would use is honesty. To be perfectly honest, when we talk about transparency, when people think about transparency, is the idea of being able to see everything that a business does or organization does, and in theory and in thought, that seems like a really great thing. But I think we all know that there are certain things that our business need. There are certain things that are tactically delayed in terms of giving the information because it just doesn't make sense strategically to get it out. But what people want, what employees want, is they want people to be honest. They want to know what's happening. They want to know what's going on, and they want to know what is being done in their name or in their behalf. And I think that's about being honest, and that should just include giving people information that they should have to be able to make sound and intelligent decisions.
My friends with the Argus Leader today even made Huther and transparency the headline.
Yeah.
What would you have used in addition to Huther rather than transparency?
Well, in terms of Mayor Huther in general, what I would say is it's just a matter of leadership, right? And so I've always had a great relationship with Mayor Huther, and I think he's been a great leader for us for where we were at. I think what that is, that's an example of how people can grow and develop and learn from those particular situations. And we can do things that include people more. So when we talk about inclusivity and making sure people are included in the decisions, I think that was an opportunity that we could have done a better job at that.
All right, the second word, diversity. What would you use other than diversity? Because that has become such a color-coded word to a lot of people out there that don't like color-coded.
Right. For that, I mean, essentially, actually, if people just think about the definition of diversity, and the definition of diversity is actually a range of different things. That's what it is. We've assigned it to really represent race or just gender, but it really represents just a range of different things, which includes race and gender, but it also includes, a range of thought, which ironically, it also includes middle-aged white men, right? Everybody is in that piece of it. So when we talk about differences, a lot of times that has a negative connotation. I really don't understand why. But that's what it is. It's a range of different things. It's including other thought processes and other types of people.
Diversity. I use the word differences.
Yeah.
Or three-dimensional.
I like that. You are good.
You would have to have at least three to have it have an ITY on it.
Right. I love that. I think we're going to roll with that one. Scratch everything I said. We're going with three-dimensional. Because here's the thing. When we talk about three-dimensional, the reason why we say that so much is that we talk about people going beyond the box, right? Because if you think inside of the box, you're just thinking about your specific position. If you're thinking outside of the box, you're thinking about the business or organization. But in order for us to take any of these things in here, any of these objects in here, the only reason why we know that they have dimension is not just because of the thing, but everything around it. It's inclusive. So when you're talking about in your business or anything like that, and you're talking about a person, to be thinking about that person three-dimensionally, we have to think about their family, and we have to think about their community, and we have to think about all of those type of things. And so it's really a matter of thoughtfulness, and it's a matter of consideration, and it's a matter of inclusion.
Another part of our discussion was we're going to start videoing our segments. And how are we going to do that?
Well, we're going to do some 360 action, so people are going to
almost 3D like.
Yeah, they're going to be able to see that. So 3D is actually 360 is actually 3D. So they're going to be able to see. They're going to be able to see us live and in color. They're going to be able to see your pretty face.
I don't know about that, but I'll have to continue wearing some of the ties. And no tie on today, just purple.
You know what? I think you're working it.
I'm working the best we could. The other thing that we're going to discuss as we get closer to October 30th, and that's 6 months away. Yes. Which gives us a lot of time to talk about what's needed for that kind of conference, the teams that are coming together. Some will be nonprofit, some will be students, others will be businesses that will come together. It's almost a team bowl of sorts that will make a difference, and they should have a 3D plaque for winning.
Right. Well, you're running up the bill on me, okay? I got to pay for this stuff, Bill.
Well, we'll see if we can get somebody to sponsor it.
But that's the thing is that we want, again, it's a range of differences. We want all those people in the room. We want people to learn and grow because this is about us getting better. It's not about these people, those people, us, them. It's not about any of that. It's about everybody's in the boat and we're all rowing in the same direction to try to be better for our communities. We don't always have to agree. We don't always have to see eye to eye, but respect and appreciation are the basics that we should expect in a community. It only makes sense.
There was a nurse that I know that was talking to one of the mayoral candidates at a service club meeting.
Yes, sir.
Just in the last week. And the gentleman was talking a little bit about being licensed, doing this, the workforce. And I think the question she asked is, which is more important, 40 years of experience or a 4-year degree? And he looked at her and said, what are you talking about? She said, would you rather have a nurse working on you that has 40 years experience, knowing what's right, wrong, and how you're going to react to it, or somebody that is just wet behind the ears coming out of college? And it's a fair question, but the big problem you have is those with a 4-year degree don't always talk to the people with a 40 years experience. Right. And we want to work on that as we get closer to October in the conference.
Right, as we talk about a lot, which is apprenticeship, is really having situations that people can take that 4-year degree and engage with someone at 40 years of experience, and they can glean some of that experience, and that person with all and the person that has all of that experience can get some of the newer education, the new processes and techniques from the people who have just come out of the training, right? So there's value from both sides, and if we address it that way, you're more likely to be able to make a connection, and you're more likely to be able to create a relationship. And that's really what we want to get at. Because the thing about the 4-year degrees is that it's not so much the issue that people want to get them, or it's not so much the issue that people put stock in them. The issue is that people go to get the paper sometimes, and not necessarily the education. And as long as we get people back to focusing on the education where they're learning versus acquiring, I think we'll be in a better position all the way around.
The other thing we have not tried with this show, and we talked about, is that after we've done a live interview on the radio, that we might go off and go online.
Yeah.
Discussing and taking questions from those people that are in the field. And
right.
That's one of the things we've talked about between now and October, trying to listen back.
Yeah, this is the other thing that's really big about what we talk about, is that we want questions. We want to be challenged. We know people are struggling with some of these things, because when people hear these buzzwords, when they hear transparency, they hear diversity, it can have a polarizing effect. People can really feel warmed by it, or people can feel attacked by it. And at the end of the day, we want to help people think through whatever it is that they're going through, so we can arrive at the place that we need to arrive at, which is a better culture is better for all of us. And so we want the questions, we want the challenges, we want people to engage and interact so they can make sure that they get value out of the conversations you and I are having. And obviously I get a lot of value out of being able to chat with you.
Think 3D Solutions.
Yes, sir.
Vaney Hariri. We're going to have some fun with that. If people need to find you and do a little consulting with you, how do they do it?
Yeah, they can do it at letsthinkthree-D.com, or you could do it on any of our social media platforms. Make sure you reach out to us. We'd love to get you a free consultation so that we can figure out how we can help your business.
And if you have new words you want us to tackle that are being overused, we'll do it next time.
Yes, sir.